Tips to get into ketosis. Ketosis is a normal metabolic process that provides several health benefits. During nutritional ketosis, the body begins converting fat into compounds that are known as ketones. These compounds are then used as the body's primary energy source. Studies have shown that diets that are high in fat and low in carbohydrates are beneficial for weight loss. It has also been known that people with diabetes and other neurological disorders may benefit from taking part in a ketogenic diet. That said, achieving a state of ketosis can take some work and planning. It's not just as simple as cutting carbs. Here are 7 effective tips to get into ketosis. 1. Minimize your carb consumption. Eating a very low-carb diet is by far the most important factor in achieving ketosis. Most of our cells use glucose as their primary source of fuel. However, they can also use other energy sources such as ketones and fatty acids. Your body stores glucose, in the form of glycogen, in your liver and muscles. When your carbohydrate consumption is low, this causes the body to store less glycogen and decrease the levels of insulin in your body. This allows fat to be released from the fat stores. Your liver has been converting fat into compounds that are useful for fuel. These include acetoacetate, beta-hydroxybutyrate, and ketones. The degree to which you need to restrict carbohydrates to induce ketosis varies depending on the individual. In addition to the type of exercise you do, other factors such as your diet and insulin levels can also affect the level of carb restriction needed to reach ketosis. Individuals need to restrict their carbohydrate consumption to around 20 grams per day to reach a state of ketosis. On the other hand, those who can consume twice this amount can achieve ketosis while maintaining their current level of consumption. The induction phase of the ketosis program of the Atkins diet requires that participants limit their carbohydrate consumption to around 20 grams per day. After reaching a state of ketosis, small amounts of carbohydrates can be gradually added back to your diet. It's important to maintain this level of ketosis to ensure that you can continue to get the most out of the program. Individuals who are trying to reach a state of ketosis will have different carb intake limits. For instance, depending on their daily calorie consumption and activity levels, they may need to consume less than 10% of their total calories from carbohydrates to maintain ketosis. A study conducted on adults with type 2 diabetes revealed that those with this condition were allowed to consume up to 50 grams of digestible carbohydrates per day. This amount was dependent on their blood ketones levels. The recommended ranges for individuals who are trying to reach a state of ketosis are around 50 grams of carbohydrates per day and 2 grams of ketones per day. These are for people who want to lose weight and control their blood sugar levels. For people with epilepsy and other conditions that require a reduction in carbohydrates, such as cancer therapy, ketogenic diets can help lower carb consumption to around 2 to 5% of total calories. However, this diet should only be used for therapeutic purposes. Individuals should only follow it if they have a medical professional's permission. 2. Include coconut oil in your diet. Eating coconut oil can help you achieve ketosis. It contains fats called medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs. MCTs are very quickly absorbed and can be used as energy or converted into ketones. Unlike most fats, they can be taken directly to the liver. It has been suggested that adding coconut oil to your diet can help boost the levels of ketones in your body. Although coconut oil contains 4 types of MCTs, around 50% of its fat comes from the kind known as lauric acid. According to some studies, having a higher lauric acid level can help boost the levels of ketosis in the body. This is because it allows the body to convert more slowly into ketones. Children with epilepsy are known to benefit from a high medium-chain triglycerides diet, which is characterized by a high level of ketones. This type of diet does not restrict carbohydrates, as in the classic ketogenic diet. Studies also suggest that a high medium-chain triglycerides diet can provide similar effects to the classic ketogenic diet. It has been known that this type of diet can supply almost 20% of its calories from carbohydrates. To minimize the effects of coconut oil on your digestive system, it's generally a good idea to consume it slowly. 3. Ramp up your physical activity. A growing number of studies have found that being in ketosis may be beneficial for some types of athletic performance. In addition, being more active can help you get into ketosis. When you exercise, your body stores glucose for later use. However, it depletes its glycogen stores immediately after you eat carbohydrates. This glucose is then converted into glycogen by the body. If you maintain a low-carb diet, your body's stores of glucose remain low. This can lead to a lack of energy for your muscles. By increasing the production of ketones, your body can provide you with an alternative fuel source. Working out in a fasted state has been shown to drive up ketone levels. In 2009, a small study was conducted on 9 postmenopausal women. They had been asked to do either exercise before or after a meal. The results of the study revealed that the women who exercised before a meal had blood ketones levels that were 314% higher than those who had done so after eating. Although exercise can boost the production of ketones, it's still not enough to immediately switch the body's primary fuel source to fats and ketones. Performance may be affected during this period. 4. Increase your healthy fat intake. Consuming plenty of healthy fats can boost your ketone levels and help you reach ketosis. Indeed, a very low-carb ketogenic diet not only minimizes carbs but also calls for a high fat intake. Ketogenic diets for weight loss, exercise performance, and metabolic health usually provide 60 to 80% of calories from fat. The classic ketogenic diet used for epilepsy is even higher in fat. Typically 85 to 90% of calories come from fat. However, extremely high fat intake doesn't necessarily translate into higher ketone levels. A 3-week study was conducted on 11 healthy individuals to compare the effects of fasting on their breath ketone levels. After the participants had consumed about 79% of their calories from fat, their levels of ketones were similar to those of those who had consumed 90% of their calories from fat. Because fat comprises such a large percentage of a ketogenic diet, it's important to choose high-quality fat sources. High-quality fats such as olive oil, avocados, and fatty fish are also beneficial for your health. They can also help lower your carb consumption. If you're trying to lose weight, it's important to maintain a healthy fat intake. However, if you're consuming too many calories, this can prevent your progress from happening. 5. Try a short fast or a fat fast. Another way to get into ketosis is to go without eating for several hours. In fact, many people go into mild ketosis between dinner and breakfast. For children with epilepsy, they typically fast for up to 72 hours before starting a ketogenic diet. This method usually required supervision. Fasting can also help children with seizures reach ketosis faster. It can lower their seizures and help them get into a better condition. Intermittent fasting, a dietary approach that involves regular short-term fasts, may also induce ketosis. Moreover, fat fasting is another ketone-boosting approach that mimics the effects of fasting. The goal of this diet is to consume around 1,000 calories a day. About 80% of this comes from fat. This high-fat intake and low-calorie diet can help you reach ketosis quickly. A fat fast is generally considered inadequate for most nutrients and proteins. It should only be followed for a maximum of 3 to 5 days. It can be hard to maintain for several days. 6. Maintain adequate protein intake. Achieving ketosis requires a protein intake that's adequate but not excessive. The classic ketogenic diet used in people with epilepsy restricts both carbs and protein to maximize ketone levels. The same diet may also be beneficial for people with cancer, as it may limit tumor growth. Unfortunately, cutting back on protein is not a healthy practice for most people. Doing so can prevent them from reaching their goal of ketosis. One of the most important factors that you should consider when it comes to getting into ketosis is to consume enough protein. This protein can help the body convert glucose into energy. The liver is also responsible for supplying glucose to certain organs and cells in the body that can't use ketones as fuel. Some of these include the red blood cells and parts of the brain and kidneys. Getting enough protein is also important to maintain muscle mass. It should be high enough to support a healthy diet when the carb intake is low. Although losing weight can lead to the loss of both fat and muscle, consuming enough protein can help maintain muscle mass. This is because a low-carb ketogenic diet is known to provide adequate protein. Studies also suggest that adequate protein intake can help maintain muscle mass. For optimal results, it's important to consume protein levels of around 0.55 to 0.77 grams per pound of lean mass. A daily protein intake of around 0.45 to 0.68 grams per pound will help maintain lean mass. Studies also suggest that very low-carb diets that require protein intake of less than this range can help induce and maintain ketosis. A study conducted on 17 obese men revealed that following a low-carb ketogenic diet for 4 weeks resulted in blood ketones levels of 1.52 millimoles/L. This is well within the range of nutritional ketosis. To determine the ideal protein intake on a ketogenic diet, Multiply your body weight by 0.55 to 0.77. For instance, if you're at 130 pounds, your protein intake should be around 71 to 100 grams per day. 7. Test ketone levels and adjust your diet as needed. Like many things in nutrition, achieving and maintaining a state of ketosis is highly individualized. Therefore, it can be helpful to test your ketone levels to ensure you're achieving your goals. 3 different types of ketones are known to be measured: acetoacetate, beta-hydroxybutyrate, and acetone. These can be measured in one's urine, blood, or breath. By using these methods, you can determine if you need to alter your diet or increase your protein intake to reach ketosis. Acetone and the breath test. Studies have shown that acetone breath tests are a reliable way to monitor the levels of ketones in people who are following a ketogenic diet. The Ketonics meter is an easy-to-use tool that measures acetone in one's breath. After you breathe into the meter, a color light appears in the screen to indicate whether or not you're in ketosis. Acetoacetate and the urine tests. The acetoacetate is measured in urine. To determine the level of ketones in one's urine, strips are placed inside it and turned into varying shades of purple or pink depending on the concentration of these compounds. These strips are relatively cheap and are an easy way to confirm that you're in ketosis. Although their accuracy has been questioned, they should still be used to confirm that you're in ketosis. A 2016 study found that urinary ketones tend to be highest in the early morning and after dinner on a ketogenic diet. Beta-hydroxybutyrate and the blood test. A blood ketone meter can also be used to measure ketones. Like with a glucose meter, the small drop of blood is placed inside a strip that's attached to the meter. The blood test can also be used to measure beta-hydroxybutyrate. It's been known to be helpful in monitoring the levels of ketosis in people. The disadvantage of measuring blood ketones is that the strips are very expensive. The bottom line: when you get into ketosis, your body begins to use ketones for fuel. Ketosis is considered to be an important part of a healthy lifestyle and weight loss plan for people who are following a ketogenic diet. It can also help decrease seizures in people with epilepsy. One of the most effective ways to reach ketosis is by cutting down on carbs. Doing so will help boost your body's ability to use ketones. Other ways to boost your energy levels include consuming coconut oil or exercising. Using urine strips can also be helpful in monitoring your progress toward reaching ketosis. It can provide you with an indication of whether or not you're still in ketosis.